Yo, what's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. This is your podcast for everything anime and anime related. If this is your first time here, I'm your boy Aray, and I'm with my co-host Owen. Owen, say what's up.
What's going on, guys? How you guys been? Firstly, I wanted to say we're doing a new video style where we have our avatars, so you kind of get to see who we are, put a face to, you know, the actual sounds. But also another huge thing I wanted to talk about was watch parties in general, and I wanted to thank firstly all the members in the Discord that came to the watch party. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And we had our first successful watch party this weekend for Black Clover. Honestly, the movie was amazing. Like, before we even get into the movie, that's a whole other thing, but that was amazing. I genuinely appreciate all the support that's been coming. We want to grow that Discord as, big as possible. And watch parties, is going to be a huge part of it. And we want everyone to join. I want to start a new series probably. We want to do something where, like, there's a lot of things that we want to do with the Discord. We haven't, like, fully agreed on what we're going to do yet, but we want to get feedback from you guys. So if you guys join the Discord, we can all, like, kind of make a group decision on how we want things to kind of run. But yeah, Ari, you want to get into that movie?
Yeah, so you want to actually talk about the movie on this pod, or we can save it for later? I feel like we should save it for later.
Oh, do you want to completely save that?
Yeah,
I want to kind of just go over briefly, just briefly.
Okay.
Like, briefly, if you guys haven't watched the movie, Black Clover movie, it's insane. We're not gonna go in depth. I don't want to, no spoilers, no nothing, because it just came out literally last weekend. But insane animations, insane, story. It was great. And it was something that, every Black Clover fan is gonna love. But what was your, like, just initial thoughts, or what do you have anything to say about the movie?
In general, I mean, it was way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought, since there was a ton of delays, it wasn't going to be as nice for whatever reason, but it was pretty hype, man. And I see it's climbing. I think right now it's number 2 on Netflix, and obviously it's exclusive to Netflix, but still, for it to be number 2 and for it to be an anime movie of not the most popular anime and still being number 2 is really good. I think my favorite part about the entire movie was just doing the entire thing on Watch Party. It was fun, we I don't know. We had some good moments in there, man, with the chat going on and the pre-discussions, the mid-discussion, and after the movie. I thought that was the most fun part to me. But yeah, man, great stuff overall.
Yeah, for sure. And to kind of segue this into movies, we just got a live action trailer for the new One Piece movie, and let's just say there's a lot to kind of unravel about this. 1 minute and 45-second trailer. I think there's a lot to unravel, but I kind of want to get your initial thoughts on, you know, just the trailer itself and live actions in general.
For sure, yeah. So we'll split up the pod into 2 sections. We'll talk about live actions in general and stigma behind it and our thoughts. And I guess we'll do One Piece, the live action trailer. So we'll talk about that. So which one do you want to start off with first?
I think let's start off with live actions generally. So,
Okay.
I mean, I have a very, very, like, like a very standard way of looking at it, and it's always like anime. The word itself is animation, or like it has animation in it, right? So normally anime, and we've always had this discussion of what is the meaning of anime, but I think that's a whole nother topic. But I think anime should be animated, and in my opinion, it's a Japanese animated style of, not cartoon, but their style. That's their style. That's anime is their style.
Mm-hmm.
But anime is not like, so when people think of anime, right? They think of two people just clashing or fighting. Anime is not a it's a medium. It's a medium. That's what it is. Just as like books are a medium, radio and whatnot. Anime has so many different genders. Not just
Yeah, watch yourself, dog.
anime has so many different genres that anime itself is a medium. But live action, so live action is a whole different medium. I think, in my
Hmm.
opinion, live action is a whole different medium, and it can be based off of anime, just like the way the movie, like that live action movie, is based off of One Piece. It's not a
Hmm.
One Piece anime. It's a live action based off of an anime. So yeah, just to clarify the actual definition of an anime, I think that's a solid definition now. Now we have a kind of solid like understanding where it's like a medium.
Hmm.
That's my definition. But um, live actions in general, it's very hard to replicate fake things happening in real life, if you know what I mean. So
Hmm.
there's
Well,
in
unless you have a huge budget, which for the most part these live actions for anime don't really have.
exactly. So we have like movies like Marvel, like old Marvel movies. They have sick animations and whatnot, obviously because they have the budget to do it. Also, we have never like I don't know the scale of anime, right? It's very hard to do some of the stuff that's in anime to do that inside of and to make it look normal inside of a real life situation. So like just even one little section of the One Piece like trailer, I think they actually did a really good job on it. Where I always thought that having Luffy's like abilities, it's very hard to replicate like stretching abilities going super far and then coming back. But the way I saw it in the trailer, it looked pretty decent. It looked pretty decent. But I think I don't know, there's a lot of variables to it.
Hmm.
But live actions in general, normally I don't like, but I feel like if they can, you know, if they could make if firstly it's directed by Oda. So I don't have, you know,
It's not directed by Oda,
not
but it's
directed, but the green lighted, right? Is green lighted?
yeah, he's like backing it, and apparently they're not going to air it unless Oda approves of it.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. So as long as that, you know, as long as it's being not directed, but foreseen,
Overseen,
yeah, overseen.
overseen. Yeah.
Overseen by Oda, I think we're chilling. But
Hmm.
what are your thoughts about and live
Live
action
action.
movies? Yeah.
For the most part, I personally don't mind. I know that there's been so many live actions that have completely fumbled the bag and have just overall sucked. I know there have been some that I've heard that have been really good actually, but I've never watched them. There've been a lot of series that aren't as popular as, like a One Piece, obviously. The ones that I've seen, Dragon Ball, I think it was called Dragon Ball Evolution. That's just a meme nowadays. Everyone be roasting it nowadays. And honestly, it was terrible. I remember watching that on the flight. I was on a flight and I was like, "Ooh, it's finally here. I can watch it." I was younger back then, so obviously I didn't have my own money to buy it or watch it in theaters. And I watched it on the plane, and I was like, "Dude, this is terrible, man." Like, it was really bad. And then there was the Death Note one that came out on Netflix, and that was horrible. I know that they have a bunch of other iterations of Death Note. I think one was done by some Japanese actors and whatnot, and I've heard that one was actually a really good adaptation. But again, for the most part, I know the stigma behind live actions is very negative in the anime community. But at the same time, it's not a typically a bad thing because if you think about it, there's going to be a world where people are just not going to give anime a chance. And if for whatever reason one of these live action movies or series ends up popping off, right? And all these anime heads are telling these people that are watching these series that, this is way better in the anime or this is way better than the manga. And if somebody really enjoyed the series, there's a chance they could check out the anime and become an anime head and become more involved in the anime community, which would be a huge success overall. I think one of the reasons why it was a failure is because, like back in the past, is because a lot of people of like these producers, these companies were just trying to do a money grab. They're using the IP of Dragon Ball and like, oh, it's Dragon Ball, everyone's gonna run out and watch it. You know what I mean? So they didn't really care. Obviously, the budget wasn't there. And it wasn't really about expanding on the anime, but it was more about getting the money. So I think that was one of the biggest failures of why live actions fail. But I think this time is different for the One Piece one. There's been a lot of rumors of a bunch of other anime getting live actions. I know there's one for Avatar as well, which is really hyped up. And not Avatar with the blue people, it's Avatar with the Last Airbender, which we can debate if that's an anime or not, but nonetheless, man, I think that nowadays we're getting a different rep with anime and live actions. But that's just my general take. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's amazing, but I'm kind of in the middle. I want to see how this series pulls out for the One Piece live action at the very least.
No, I think you did bring up a really good point about some people not watching anime
Hmm.
because it's anime. Like I've asked like multiple people, like
Hmm.
and like why don't they get into anime? And they'll just say it's a cartoon. Like they'll literally just say it's a cartoon. And I'm like, it's not meant for, even if it looks like a cartoon, it's still not meant for kids. Just like South Park and Family Guy, they are cartoonish, but they're not meant for kids.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, a lot of people have that, have that stigma of anime just being for first of all for kids. I think that's because first of all, shonen is like the main genre of anime, right? And
Yeah.
most, especially in the US. So most people that see anime like from an outside perspective, they only see like the crazy weebs doing kamehameha and like crazy
Right.
shit like
Yeah.
that. You know, they don't know that there's a whole other side to anime. But I think you brought up a really good point where this can funnel people in to anime itself because they'll have a medium that they're kind of used to through movies, and if they like it, they'll get into the anime. If they like the story, they'll get into the anime. And yeah, I think
Hmm.
that's a good way to funnel people in. But I don't know. It could also give like a bad. It could. It's like a double-edged sword, right? So
Right. Yeah.
you could get people that really like it and want to watch the anime, and then you get people that watch it and they're like, "Yo, what is this crap? This fake shit." That's what they it's like some people
Hmm.
probably say with like Luffy's arms going everywhere and
Right.
crazy
Right.
shit happening. And it's all like I'm assuming they're using CGI for a lot of the stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's gonna some of it is gonna look kind of fake. So that might be a turnoff for some people. But I think generally it's a good, especially since it's not a movie, it's a kind of a series. It's a
Hmm.
good it's a good way to segue people into the actual anime itself.
Yeah, so you actually reminded me of one thing. So there's way like this is a point I wanted to make earlier, but there's ways to do these live actions that can actually be successful. Like you don't like it's gonna be tough because obviously some of the biggest IPs are like One Piece and Dragon Ball where you have to have these effects. But for the most part, there's series that don't really have these effects that don't need it at all. So like there's obviously Death Note, which you'd have to do something for Ryuk, but for the most part, it's humans doing normal human things. And then I recently saw a bunch of clips on TikTok for Tokyo Revengers, and it was like the TV show adapted into like a live action TV show. I mean, I just seen some certain clips, but it looked pretty legit. It seemed decent, and it followed the anime and manga. So for that reason, I feel like there's certain live actions that could actually be successful and be pulled off pretty well. And obviously, there's going to be ones that are a lot harder to do. Like we've seen the One Piece one. This is apparently going to be 8 episodes and 8 to 10 episodes. I can't remember, but yeah, it's going to be through or up until Fish Island, not sorry, Fishman Island, until Arlong saga, the Arlong arc. So yeah, that part itself is shouldn't be too hard to kind of adapt. I mean, of course, there's going to be challenges and whatnot, but for example, imagine when you get to the part in One Piece when you have some weird body types, like you have like the Kaido, the Big Moms. I was talking about it with one of the Discord members. Like, imagine like they have like the long leg tribe and long arm tribe. Imagine being able to adapt that into like live action. That would just be, I don't know, man. I wouldn't even want to think about it. I feel like that would be super difficult and challenging. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. That's exactly why I was saying that. Like my initial thoughts for the One Piece live action were
Hmm.
kind of negative, and the reason they were negative to begin with was because One Piece, first of all, they have, as you said, very crazy character designs. Like Ivankov, who you're not finding anyone with the head 3 times the size of their body. Like
Right.
everyone is just very weird, and even the normal people are like weird in One Piece. Um, but you're right. There are like some anime that can definitely be adapted very easily because everything is very human like.
Hmm.
I think One Piece itself is super. I think One Piece is maybe one of the far-fetched stories ever.
Hmm.
And if they can do that, I think they can do a lot of other things.
All right.
But we just got to see how they'll adapt like all the like the powers and the world building. Because what it is also is the fact that if you've seen some of the manga, like if you've seen the Going Merry, not the Going Merry, the Sunny next
Hmm.
to Onigashima, it is tiny
Yeah, the sizing is
compared
gonna be
to,
an issue for sure.
yeah, it's
The
like tiny.
scaling.
Yeah, it's the scaling will not make sense for a lot of the things because first of all, the worlds are different, and then the world scale and the world size itself is completely different. Like I honestly didn't think about scale like in that degree
Hmm.
until I saw a TikTok video. I honestly don't remember who it was
Yeah.
made by, but the guy was saying um how the actual going the Sunny is huge. I forgot
Hmm.
how huge it was, but he was saying it's like massive in the real world. And then when you put it right next to Onigashima, it literally looks like a pebble. So wondering how big Onigashima is just unfathomable. It's crazy.
Right. And Onigashima is like a small island. It's like where they just go out to chill and hang out. You know what I mean? Imagine like a legitimate island.
Yeah, exact. Like Kaido is literally carrying that island. Like
Right
it's
through
that,
the air, bro.
yeah, it's that small in the One Piece world. But yeah, I think scaling, if they do it right, it can be cool. Like imagine like how crazy would it be if they could scale like going up to Skypiea or like going down to
Mhm.
Fishman Island, something like that. Like I don't think that that's very hard to achieve
Right, right.
because
Well,
because yeah.
I was gonna say, well, I don't know if they'll adapt the entire One Piece
No,
into
no, I'm
live
not
action,
saying,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I'm not
But
saying they will, but I'm saying if they do for anything, One Piece would be the hardest to do it for
mhm.
because okay, so normally, right, you can just switch the scene from them being on the ground to them going up. But the
Right.
thing is, in the actual in to get to that place, that whole like them going up the stream was a huge part of it. So
Mhm.
them showing that is gonna be, I don't know how difficult that would be. I'm not a film creator, but it seems like it'd be difficult.
Right. All right,
But
so let's
yeah.
let's hop into this now. So let's talk about we were already been talking about One Piece just a little bit, but let's talk about the live action trailer. Let me hear your thoughts as the One Piece biggest advocate out there.
Okay, so to be honest, like it's better than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Better than I expected it to be because I really just had no hope. But the main thing, okay, I want to start off with my dislikes first.
Okay.
So the main thing that I did not like, and this is not something they can really control like that, but the voices were just so bad. Like it just didn't fit. Like it didn't fit the character.
Hmm.
At least for the characters, at least for Luffy. Like when he said "Gum Gum Pistol," bro, I was not hyped. Like you know how you're hyped when
Yeah.
Gum Gum no, like you're hyped. He's about to do some crazy shit.
Hmm.
But yo, he said it. I was like, yo, that's pretty off. But I mean, that's probably the best they can do. Character wise, I like the characters. Like I like who
Hmm.
they picked for the characters, and I there was like a part where they added humor to it,
Hmm.
and it was like, oh, it was Nami and Zoro saying, we're not part of the crew.
We're not a crew, yeah.
Yeah, like that part was funny to me, and I appreciate that since post time pre time skip One Piece was all about goof. It was all about being goofy. It was all about being funny, and all the laughs. I feel like we don't get too much of that in the post time
Hmm.
skip of One Piece. It's more serious, but I do get why they do it. But I think they have to heavily, focus on comedy, especially since it's a live action. Like I think comedy is gonna have to kind of play a huge part in this series, even though it's not as big of a part in One Piece as a whole,
Hmm.
because there's so much in One Piece that the comedy part of it takes like a step down instead of like in regular shows the comedy is the main part of the show.
Right.
Yeah, I think in a live action they might have to do that. But I did like, I think I saw Buggy, Zoro, like the characters were, dressed up well. They looked phenomenal. It's just very weird, right? It's just very weird when you're like used to the sub either, like, because I don't watch. I've watched a bit of One Piece dubbed when in the
Hmm.
beginning, right in the beginning when I didn't even know sub was a thing, because I only like I start One Piece was my first, right, so I watched like the
Right,
first
right.
couple episodes in dub, and then my boy was like, "Yo, you gotta watch it." So, and then once I watched it in sub, it was a whole nother level of excitement and hypeness. But when I hear the voices not in Japanese or not even in the English that the person like the original English voice actor for the anime, if I don't hear that, it just sounds weird.
Hmm.
Like Luffy's accent sounds very weird and non-fitting for his character. But I know technically like Luffy's like Brazilian or something in the show.
Yeah, right, right. So
So
for those of you guys that don't know, I think Oda said that each of the characters of One Piece, the crew, are from different countries. So he said that Luffy is Brazilian, Zoro's Japanese, Nami I think was Swedish, Sanji was French, Brook was from Austria, and and so on. But for the most part, yeah.
yeah, everybody's from an actual
Hmm.
origin place that's not Japan, or like they have like their certain nationality, and I think that's honestly a good way to keep everything uniform and keep everything consistent with
Hmm.
like I know it's uh like Blackbeard Somali. We got like it's everything makes sense. Like it actually makes sense. The nationalities kind of make sense. Not saying
Hmm.
Somali guys are pirates, but it makes sense. Everything makes sense with like how people look per se.
Yeah,
And
for
I think
sure.
it makes it easier for them to find the right people for the right tasks. I think yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's one thing that I really liked about, the trailer. It seemed like they were trying to wholeheartedly like adapt everything the way that Oda wanted it to be adapted and the way that it should be adapted. One thing that actually affected me a little bit in the positive side of things was I saw a quick little clip on TikTok of all the actors in this One Piece live action, and they were all kind of reacting to the One Piece live action trailer, and they were all like crying about it. It seemed like they were genuinely really into it. I saw another clip where they were kind of I think they were in Brazil actually, and they were I don't know what it was, but it was like it was an event with a bunch of people, and they were kind of hyping it up to everybody, like like for example, the actor that played Luffy, he's like, I'm Luffy, or he said his name, I forget his name, but he's like, I'm this, I play Luffy, and I'm gonna be the king of pirates, blah blah. They all went through every single one of them. And I can tell that some of these actors are really into it because when the actor of Usopp said, I'm Usopp, somebody yelled, God Usopp. And one of the actresses yelled that. So I was like, dang, so they must really actually watch One Piece, which means they're obviously trying to make it more authentic and trying to keep it more closer to the story. So I thought that was really cool. You can genuinely tell that these actors and actresses are trying to put their entire heart into it and actually make it as close to One Piece as possible. So I thought it was pretty dope.
No, I mean that's genuinely appreciative. But I think it is a prerequisite if you are going to be acting in the best anime out there, you best be watching Gas. Like you best be watching Peak if you're going to be, acting for Peak. But I mean that's a really good that's a really good I think I was seeing it too. I saw clips on TikTok, but I didn't get into watching it fully, but I know that
Mhm.
they all got together. What was that was an event or something that they were at
Yeah,
or
I don't know for sure, but I mean, they had a translator and she said it was Brazil and it sounded like she was talking Portuguese. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was an event in Brazil.
oh this took place in Brazil too.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, like the
I,
event.
I think since first of all, there's a lot of actors, right? From different countries. I think the globalization of One Piece is gonna see like we're gonna see more people
Yeah.
from other places watch One Piece. I know One Piece is huge in a lot all over the globe. I know One Piece is huge generally. But I think since it's a live action and since you have a lot of actors from different parts of the world,
Hmm.
performing in this one series, I think that will definitely open up, doors for people to watch
Yeah, for
um
sure.
One Piece globally. Other than that, I mean, I hope one this. I hope it lives up to its expectation. I know the first couple episodes of One Piece can be slightly boring, but I think they build like those first couple scenes. You need to like they build so much that like having and yet and you're right, they're not crazy with like any of the animation or anything. They're not crazy, so I think them making it into a live action is a good live action is very possible. I also do want to talk about that one, the sea monster part of it.
Yo, I was hoping we talked about this, man.
The sea,
Insane.
yeah, the sea monster. They did it pretty. They did the CGI of that pretty well. Like, uh, I I think we saw Shanks for a second in there.
Yeah, we did. We saw the
Yeah,
back of his head holding Luffy.
yeah, we saw Shanks in there. That was an iconic scene. I want to see that. Like, I'm actually hyped to relive that scene
Mm.
in live action because they honestly did not do a bad job with the they didn't do a bad job with the monster. And seeing that scene where like,
Hey,
Luffy,
real talk though. Sorry to cut you off, but
yo, what's up?
I feel like that scene was way better done in the live action than it was in One Piece in the anime. Don't get mad, don't get triggered, but the
Yo,
monster, the monster, dude, the monster in the anime just looked like a regular. It
hype
looked like
beam.
a right. It didn't look like a regular, like not even like a Loch Ness monster type. It looked like a small little
It looked
dragon.
like a big eel, like a big
Right, it
eel
looked like a
type
big
shit.
eel, and we all joked about this. We're like, "Yo, this is one of the Yonko," and he got clapped by that small little monster. But then when you look at it in the live action, you're like, "Oh shit, okay, bro, how the hell do you even beat that shit?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it looks sick. That shit looks sick in the live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to see the whole like scene where, in the bar where the bad guy comes, Shanks is just,
Oh yeah, I'm
I
happy
want to
we're
see
getting that.
I want to see that whole scene. I want to see when Shanks flips Luffy over after he eats the fruit
Oh yeah.
and then he just falls to the floor. Like, there's gonna be so many good parts to
hmm
this live action, and honestly, I'm thinking that this we might just, since it's on Netflix too, we might
Yeah,
do a watch party for this.
we could.
So
Yeah, let's do it.
yeah, that's definitely something that we'd want to do. When does it come out? It comes out in August, right?
August 31st.
August 31st. So it's, it's literally like 2 months away.
Yeah.
Definitely will plan some watch party for this. I
hmm
want to do a lot of watch parties. Like watch parties are like that
It
last
was
watch
fun.
party was
First one
super
was fun.
fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun, and I think firstly it's about like watching it with other people. You get to talk about it afterwards. You still
hmm
have the hype. Like, okay, I'll talk. So if I watch the Black Clover movie, right, and I see you like a week or two later, we'll talk about it, but we won't have the same enthusiasm of like
Right.
talking about it as we're watching it or instantly after. I know. So this time, right? We did it in a way where we weren't really talking while we were watching the movie, and I know some people like it like that. Um, I feel like we could do it in a way where, um, we could get some conversations in the middle. Just if it's a crazy scene, we could pause it after and then talk about it a bit. I kind of wanted to do that this time. I think we did it once or twice, but it was our first watch party. We're going to get better every single time, and yeah, I mean it was a success, in my opinion. But so, are
Yeah.
you hyped? Are you hyped for this One Piece?
Honestly, man, I wasn't in the beginning, kind of like you. I wasn't really expecting much. Obviously, I knew Oda was gonna back it, so I put a little bit of credibility behind it. But honestly, after watching the trailer, I'm pretty hyped. I saw Buggy, and I was like, "Damn, he looks good. Like he looks scary, man. He doesn't look like like in the
Like a
anime, he looks
clown.
all yeah. He
Yeah,
doesn't
like a
look all
clown.
goofy. He looks more like a Joker, like a more of a yeah Joker from Batman. Looks more
Yeah,
like him than he does Buggy the Clown, which I mean, yeah, it's not exactly 100% the right adaptation or maybe what Oda was going for, but it's scary, man. Like obviously not scary, but you know what I mean? Like it looks scary. It looks pretty good. And I think that yeah, man, I think we're in for some stuff that we weren't expecting at all. There's gonna be some parts that are gonna be hard for us to watch. You mentioned earlier the voice acting. I don't know how I feel about that just because I know at the same time, like, it's hard because we both listen to sub, so it's gonna sound weird as it is in dub, but then again, we're gonna be hearing a different voice, as you mentioned. So maybe it's not bad. Maybe we just have to get used to it. But again, the way he did say like gum gum, I was just like, oh man, that sounds. I don't know if I could get used to it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm still hyped for it, man. I'm gonna obviously look past some of the shortcomings, which it's not nothing's ever gonna be perfect. Even the anime of One Piece itself is not perfect. So yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. But I'm pretty hyped for it. I know at first you weren't hyped for it. Are you hyped for it now?
I mean, I'm definitely like, okay, so
All right, let me put it
like
this way. Are you still gonna watch it?
no, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Nice. Were you gonna watch it before?
That it was debatable. It was debatable if I was gonna watch it
All right,
before.
swag.
I'm definitely gonna watch it. Firstly, because I'm a huge One Piece fan, and it's not
Mhm.
even because I'm a huge One Piece fan, because I still haven't watched Film Red. Like, I just think that first of all, I want to relive those moments, and I want to see how they recreate those moments because it's already been done, right? It's already been done before. We know how it's supposed to look. We know how the emotions we feel. We know everything about it, right? And they've also first so this is actually the third time they're kind of doing this because they made it okay. So the original, make was in 1999 or whatever it was,
Mhm.
you know, and then they upscaled it so it looks really good now. Like if you've ever seen it on Netflix or you watched the episodes, the recent episode, not the recent episodes, the first like probably 30 episodes or 40 episodes, they look really crisp now. I think that's definitely a way to get people in. But now it's the third attempt to get people in, and it's the real life version. And I'm honestly I want to see how they do. That's my main thing. I want to see how they do, and if they do a really good job, then kudos to them for sure. Um,
Right, right.
I you know me, if there was like a commission fee for putting people onto to One Piece, I'd be like a millionaire already. But I think this will be a good way to get more people in for sure. And I'm hype.
Yeah. All right, man. I think that let's wrap up the One Piece side of things. Let's talk about live action just really quickly, and then we'll end the pod. Um, do you see a future where there's going to be more of these live actions? Because I know obviously there's that Avatar one coming out. The Tokyo Revenger one recently just finished, I think. And yeah, I mean, if this one pops off, man, where do you see the future of live action versus anime?
So I think as anime grows as an industry itself,
Hmm.
they're gonna have money to be, going crazy with their CGI and all that stuff. So I think as we progress, we're also gonna learn from the mistakes of these movies of
Hmm.
how like these are kind of like the initial movies, let's say, before the whole train. I think as first of all the budget grows, they're gonna have way more output and crazier animations for the for the stuff that's not real. I think for live actions like Tokyo Revengers, the ones that are like very real life, like I think they could easily adapt that. I think I think if they I think what should they should do, and this is just an opinion for me, is modify they could modify the stories a bit to make them live
Hmm.
action, like because there's stuff in anime that is only anime. Like there's like like our friend Shakir, he only there's some stuff in anime he doesn't like, and it's because it's anime stuff, and it's very different how they would adapt it in a live action.
Yeah.
Like them talking to themselves and all that stuff. I don't
Right,
think
right,
we
right.
might not even see that type. We might not even see that type of thing in this live action, but I think they I think they need to keep at the they need to keep the story very close to the original, but if they need to go hinder away a bit, I think they should to make it better, to make a better experience.
Yeah, no, man, you're definitely right. There's going to be a lot of challenges that, from the anime to the live action that we're just not going to be able to overcome, or we're going to have to go through some weird patches to be able to do it. So, yeah, I definitely agree with that and pretty much all that you were saying. Like the talking in your own head, like you don't usually see that in movies and series in general. So, that's going to be an aspect of anime that's going to be kind of weird and harder to adapt. Just for example, and obviously the animations and all the other cool crazy shit the anime does that movies and live action don't do, or movies and live action don't do. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be it for this episode. We touched on a lot of different cool things. For those of you guys that aren't in our Discord server, make sure you guys join. I definitely want to do more watch parties with all of you guys. I had a lot of fun with the first ones we both did. And yeah, definitely join up and let us know your guys' opinion on live actions in general, like that are based off of anime, whether it's anime or manga. And let us know your guys' reaction to the One Piece live action trailer. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of Anime Plus. Peace.
Peace.